Hello everyone, we are back to a study of the triangles of the neck, and again we come to this anterior triangle on the side of the neck. And as we have said, the anterior triangle is divided into many subsidiary triangles. We have already studied the submental triangle and the digastric triangle, and now we are left with the carotid triangle and the muscular triangle. So the boundaries of the carotid triangle, above and in front is the posterior belly of the digastric, and along with the posterior belly of the digastric you have another muscle, the stylohyoid. Let's see if we can take a look at it here. With the posterior belly of the digastric you have another muscle here, the stylohyoid. So posterior belly of the digastric and the stylohyoid, and in front and below you have the superior belly of the omohyoid, and behind you have the anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid. So between the posterior belly of digastric, superior belly of omohyoid, and anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid, this here is the carotid triangle. Now the roof of all of the triangles in the side of the neck is the same. It is the skin, superficial fascia containing the platysma muscle anteroinferiorly, and in the superficial fascia you have the superficials, arteries, veins, nerves, lymphatics, and beneath that you have the investing layer of the deep cervical fascia, and then you enter the carotid and the muscular triangles or any other triangle of the neck. So the roof is more or less the same, we need not mention it time and again, but the floor is different. So the floor of the carotid triangle, the floor is formed by the thyroid, the hyoglossus, the middle constrictor, and the inferior constrictor. Now that is not obvious immediately. Let us see if we can look at the floor somewhere else. So you can't see the floor here. You can see the middle constrictor and the inferior constrictor in the floor, but you can see a little bit of the hyoglossus also. You see this big muscle is the hyoglossus. So here you have a bit of the hyoglossus, middle constrictor, inferior constrictor. So where has the thyroid gone to? It's underneath this. Let's see if we can take a look at the thyroid. So here you have the thyroid. You see thyroid, and you have the inferior constrictor here, the middle constrictor here, and a little bit of the hyoglossus maybe somewhere here deep inside. So hyoglossus here, thyroid here, middle constrictor somewhere here, and the inferior constrictor here. Can we get a clearer picture? So you have thyroid here, hyoglossus here, middle constrictor here, and inferior constrictor. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these four muscles form the floor of the carotid triangle. Now in contents of the carotid triangle you have a lot of contents. You have the common carotid artery, you have the external and internal carotid arteries, you have the branches of the external carotid artery, that is the ascending pharyngeal artery, you have the superior thyroid artery, you have the lingual artery, you have the facial artery, you have the occipital artery, and you have the posterior auricular artery. So many arteries you have here. Then you have the internal jugular vein and its tributaries, and you have a part of the spinal accessory nerve, a little bit here in the anterior triangle. Most of it is going to the posterior triangle. So a little bit of the spinal accessory nerve. You have a loop of the hypoglossal nerve. This is the loop of the hypoglossal nerve here, passing through the anterior triangle and going up into the digastric triangle. So as part of the hypoglossal nerve here, including the loop of the ansa cervicalis. So you can see the hypoglossal nerve, and you can see the ansa cervicalis, and between and behind the common carotid artery and internal jugular vein you can see the vagus nerve over here. And further behind the carotid sheath, here you can see the carotid sheath containing the common carotid artery, internal jugular vein, and vagus nerve. And further behind the carotid sheath you have the sympathetic trunk, and from above here you have a little bit of the parotid gland protruding down, and you have the deep cervical lymph nodes. Now the superficial cervical lymph nodes were in the superficial fascia, and the deep cervical lymph nodes are distributed into all of these triangles of the neck. They have different groups, and you see the submental, submandibular, the mastoid group, and the parotid group, and the vertical chain. They are all deep cervical lymph nodes, and the deep cervical lymph nodes are all arranged. The vertical chain is arranged along the internal jugular vein. So this is so much about the carotid triangle. Here you can see the carotid triangle. This is the carotid triangle between the digastric, omohyoid and the sternocleidomastoid. Again the common carotid artery, external and internal carotid artery, the hypoglossal nerve with the ansa cervicalis, and between and behind you can't see the vagus very clearly here. You can see the initial part of the spinal accessory nerve. This is the part over here. So this is so much for the carotid triangle. Now another thing is that at the beginning of the common and external and internal carotid arteries, at the bifurcation you have a swelling, the carotid sinus, and a small micro organ, the carotid body. Now we will go into the muscular triangle, which is the last of the triangles of the anterior triangle. Now in the muscular triangle you will find that in front it is formed by the anterior midline of the neck, extending from the hyoid bone along the midline right up to the suprasternal notch. So this is the anterior border, and behind and above you have the superior belly of the omohyoid, and behind and below you have the anterior border of the lower part of the sternocleidomastoid, and the floor over here is formed by the sternohyoid and sternothyroid. So you have both sternohyoid going right up to the hyoid bone and sternothyroid going just up to the thyroid and continued as the thyroid muscle. Now let us see if we can look at these muscles in details. So here you can see the sternohyoid, and you can see the sternothyroid and its continuation the thyroid. So sternohyoid, sternothyroid, and its continuation the thyroid, these are the muscles in the floor. Now these muscles are all covered by the pretracheal layer of the deep cervical fossa. Now these muscles, sternohyoid, sternothyroid, thyroid plus omohyoid. So sternohyoid, sternothyroid, thyroid plus omohyoid, these four muscles are called the infrahyoid muscles. Now can we take a closer look at these muscles? Here we can. So you can see the sternohyoid muscle over here, sternum to hyoid, the sternothyroid, its continuation the thyroid, and the omohyoid. So 1, 2, 3, 4. These four muscles together are called the infrahyoid muscles. Now if you want to look at the contents over here in the muscular triangle, it does not have any significant contents, but what it's important is that below this floor you have the thyroid gland and the larynx, trachea, and esophagus. So again, now we see that we have completed all the sub parts of the anterior triangle. We have discussed the submental triangle, digastric triangle, carotid triangle, and the muscular triangle, and so we are now in a position to move on to the structures of the posterior triangle. Thank you.